Hi everybody, I'm going to do my pattern, which is called Lido. This is what the step out looks like on the patterncollections.com website. I really love the way the ladies do their thing to the way we draw a pattern and a step out. This is what it, just to let you know, this is what it looked like when I drew it. I drew it in my 12 by 12 or my 6 by 6 sketchbook, and I drew my steps this way, kind of around the edge, and then did my sample right here, and then scanned it and submitted it, and they did this beautiful thing with it. Lovely. You guys are spectacular. Anyway, thought I should probably do my own pattern as a pattern. It's not a daily pattern, but as just a general pattern of how to do. This is a little bit more advanced pattern. It's a grid pattern, which is really unusual for me. If you know me, I have no idea why I just developed a grid pattern, except for the fact that we were on vacation and there was this fabulous tile in on the Lido deck of the Carnival cruise ship. It was called the Miracle. We were on the Miracle, and in the Lido on the floor there it was, this beautiful tile, and so I had to figure out how to draw it. So let me show you real quick how it is done. It starts out as a grid, and you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to show how it can be. I'm going to change the perspective of my grid as I go. I'm going to start with my lines small and work my way to bigger. Boy, those aren't even close to being straight, are they? Oh well. That is what I do when I do grids, which is why I don't always do grids. Oh, that's going to cause an issue. Well, some of them will be square and some of them will not be square, and we're just going to see what happens when they are not so square. Because I developed this pattern as squares. Well, okay, that one will be a square, and then this one will be a square, so it'll be about that big. And then this one will be a square, so I'll make it about that big. And then we'll make this one a square, so it'll be about that big. And then this business here is gonna, I don't know, we'll figure it out. All right, so I'm gonna zoom in a little bit to that square right there to show you how it's done. Step number one, excuse me, is to do those rice shapes at about halfway point. So make a bump, a lumpy bump right there at about the half point. You don't have to be exact, but approximately half. Like so. Okay? Step number two is to make these sort of curves right there. And you're going to connect, excuse me, you're going to connect this middle to that middle and this middle to that middle. So just make a nice curve like so. All right? Next step is to make this sort of double curve, and to me it makes it sort of like a bat shape, or a, I don't know, like kind of like a peeling up kind of a shape, but it's something like that. 1 and 2, like that. And then next step, see if I can get it on screen there, is to aura those shapes. And this is the last step. So what I do is I try to get about in the middle here with this one, or like that and like that. And then this one, depending on how close you got here, is whether I aura on this side or on the other side. This one I'm going to aura on this side. Okay, that's the step. And then you just do it in the next square. I'm going to do it here in the next one that's a square. And I'm going to continue down in my, let me zoom back out. Oops, wrong way. Okay. I'm going to continue in these ones right now because those are the ones that are square. Because I'm not exactly sure what caused me to start out not with a grid that was square. So we'll just see what it looks like. I've only ever drawn it the way I drew it in my sample, which was on a square grid. Just a standard, evenly spaced grid. So who knows what I'll end up with. And then this shape, and this shape, and then aura that to the middle, aura that to the middle, and aura that little guy like that. Okay, and then this one. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and curves, and a little bat shape. And these are getting kind of small, so I may not do that second aura. I may, because that seems like it's going to be way too tight in there. So I'm not going to do that second aura. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then that, and this. Oops. What the heck? Well, that didn't come out very well. And then we'll aura that, and aura that. And I forgot my little bat wing. Yeah, when they get small, it looks like that they're not as good for that little bat wing to aura it. Aura it. Blech. All right, so where am I going to go next? We'll just do this one. So when you do the next one, it creates that sort of lumpy bales. Is it bales? Fife? Oh, now I've forgotten the name of the one where you put the lines and then you do that. I have forgotten. Oh well. So it looks slightly different when it's in a more rectangular, but I think in these smaller ones I'm not going to do that second aura. So we're just going to continue. Just go about halfway. If you go about halfway, it all should come out good, no matter what. Right? And then aura that, like that. So it really doesn't matter whether you do these little bat shapes first or second. Why I'm calling them bats, I don't know, but to me they look like, you know, like when you drew a bat for Halloween. Yeah, that's kind of what it reminds me of. I'm not too sure why. Or a bird, or I'm not, whatever. Little rice shapes. And half. And then half this way, half that way. My little bat shape. And then half this way. It does look different in a rectangle than it does in a square. Well, that's all right. we'll just see what happens here. It's an experiment. I think most of my drawing is an experiment. Only unless I'm making something as a sample that, you know, I want it to be exact. Most of my drawings are experiments. That way and that way. This way and this way. And my little auras. Round and round we go. And up and across. And the bigger it gets, the easier it is to make that shape. But around and around that is. I'm surprised my hand is as steady as it is today. I unfortunately had a hard night sleeping last night, and I woke up with a horrendous headache, so I took some medicine for it. My headache seems to have mostly gone away, but usually medicine I take has some caffeine in it. It usually makes my hand really jiggly, so I'm surprised I'm as steady as I am. Ooh, well, that's long and skinny and stretched out, isn't it? No room there for an aura. Okay, that's fine. Do the parts of it that you have room for. If you don't have room for it, don't draw it. Right? Up that way, around this way. Aura that one. Do that, and aura that one. And aura this middle part like that. Not sure if I can find quickly on my phone. I might be able to. The inspiration for this. I should have dug it out before I started, but I might be able to find it. We'll see. See if I have time at the end. Or perhaps I can just pause the video at the end and come back to it. See if I do it wider, or this side, if I do it skinnier, or that side. I'll do that again. Just let me show you. Okay, let me do this one more time with an aura, if I have room. That, like that. So on this one, if I end up with this wider here, then when I make my aura, I do it on this side where I have more room. If I end up making this one really thin like that, then when I do my aura, I do it on the other side. Does that make sense? And then come back through, make sure you get those kind of close together. Half and half. But definitely rectangular is a little more challenging with this shape. There's not as much room to put that aura, so I'm not going to. Alright, and this bit at the edge here where I kind of goofed. I know, I have a thought. Let's use a thicker pen. Is that thicker? No, that's not thicker. Haha. How about this one? Yeah, okay. I am going to quote unquote fix. Let me zoom back out. Wrong way. Okay. This part here where I like way overdid, I am going to fix it by doing that. And I'm going to make a wonky frame for it. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to get it bigger at this side. I'm just going to go around the whole thing and make this kind of a wonky frame. And that will kind of fix it. Right? It's kind of doing a little bit of, kind of like making a paradox pattern thing. Guacamole, my phone keeps vibrating. Don't know what is going on over there. I'm just using a Sharpie pen because it has a bigger tip. You can use whatever you want. You can use your standard smaller tip if you want. I just am not that patient for coloring in with the smaller tip. Just am not. So when I need a larger tip, I tend to grab for this one. But I have others that I could use. But that kind of evens that out a little, fixes my quote-unquote mistake. I like it. This is Lido. That's my pattern. Let me show you what I did in my sketchbook, my big sketchbook. I may have to zoom out. There we go. That's my 6x6 tile. I did one big one in the middle, and then I did two different. I still did them in more even grids, but I did them in two different scales and shaded them. So just to give you an idea of what can be done with it. I hope you enjoy. Practice it. Let me see what you guys can do. Bye. Okay, I said I would try to find a picture of that tile, and I think there it is. I'm pretty sure you can see it. See that beautiful tile? Isn't that pretty? That's what inspired me. I think I did pretty good.